Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Eating the Elephant. And now we know it takes 65 bites to eat an elephant. We've talked over a long period of time about breaking this hurricane recovery. That's this elephant that's sitting on our chest, breaking it into bite-sized pieces for you. And today we're going to try to finish that up a little bit. We're going to wrap things up and maybe pivot a little bit. I think pivot is the current word, but. First of all, before I get into any sort of technical stuff, I need to say a couple of thank yous. The very first one, of course, is to my wife. I am not a Facebook guy, was not a Facebook guy prior to the storm, and without her encouraging me to get on this platform and sort of share a little bit of knowledge, I never would have done this, and her encouragement is the key to everything that I do that's successful in life. So I got to start out by thanking her, and the second person I want to thank is Pat Saveston. She is a marketing genius, and she is the person that has encouraged me, helped me along, and helped me to see this storm from the side of the consumer, the person that's arguing with the insurance company and having a rough time. So not only has her marketing and social media expertise been helpful, but her point of view and her compassion for her neighbors has been very informative and very helpful. And a lot of what you see on Eating the Elephant for these last 65 episodes has a lot to do with her input. And without her, this would not have been nearly as effective, I don't think. There's a lot of other people I need to thank too, and there's no way I can get to all. But everybody that has shared this series, that has recommended it to a friend, that has reached out to somebody when they were frustrated and said, hey, this guy might have an answer for you. People that have promoted this, I really appreciate it. There are people like John Shook, Pat Futrell, who, as you may remember, is the person that gave me this elephant very early on in the series, Pilot, our mascot, and I've known Pat forever. Other people, Michelle Ginn, Mary Peavy, Karen Crutchfield, Karen Smith, Shirley Jennings, all of you that have come to our little meetings on Sundays and Wednesdays and made something of it, because without your questions, without your concerns, without your content, without your input, frankly, I wouldn't have known what questions to answer and wouldn't know what to say when I sit here every Sunday and every Wednesday. A little summary for those of you that are not maybe as familiar with this series. What we've done over the last 65 episodes since last October is we have talked about various aspects of insurance and hurricane recovery. And we started out talking about the things that people were talking about in October. We were talking about things like, oh, how do you get a tarp on your roof? What should you pay? What about the tree guys? We moved toward the mitigation stuff. We talked about, from there, what kind of coverage is applied. We talked then about pack-out services. We talked about mitigation, how that's priced, assignment of benefits. I think we've educated everybody on that particular topic. And we've had lots and lots of other things, and what we've tried to do is I have tried to follow you along. We have come a long way together in this storm. And I have to say, the thing that's been encouraging to me about this is I really do feel like we've done this side by side. And when I'm out in the public, or if I'm answering the phone at the office and seeing some things at the help desk, it's been encouraging to me to know that we're talking about the things that are of concern to you, because this is not for me. Although I have to admit I've enjoyed it a great deal more than I would have expected. We've tried to follow this storm along, and if you are having a particular problem, you might think about how long it's been since that problem arose. And if it's something that you feel like might have been an issue early in the storm, you can go back and you can look at some of the earlier episodes. And I'll say this, just because we're changing the format of what we're doing and we're changing the focus a little bit, as I said, we're going to pivot, it doesn't mean you can't ask me questions. It doesn't mean you can't shoot me a direct message. Call me at the office, come to the help desk. Just because we're changing the way things work doesn't mean that I am any less willing to help you, no matter whose client you are. I don't care where your insurance is. I appreciate the fact that you guys have given me a chance to be helpful in a way I can. I'm not in a stage in my life where I'm going to ride a chainsaw anymore, and I don't necessarily have the freedom to travel around and do nearly as much hands-on recovery work as I might have done at a younger age. But I feel like I've been able to help in this way, and I would like to continue to do so. So I hope you will give me that chance. If you see someone in distress, if you see someone having trouble wrestling with their insurance company at their wit's end, before you let them just fold up their tent, ask them to call me. Ask them to reach out, and I'll do everything I can to help them. No cost, no obligation, no nothing. I really would like to help where I'm able to, and to put my expertise to use. I do want to say that I think we've learned a lot together. I've learned some things through meeting some local attorneys. There's people like Donna Rink that have been helpful. There have been people like Stephen Dillenberg out of Texas who has sort of helped me to understand that the problems that we have with this we can recover from, and guys like John Robeson who have shown me the value of appraisal and how it can be effective for my clients. And I got to tell you, that's one in particular I was wrong on. I didn't think that appraisal was where we needed to go, but I do hope that based on our collective experience and the knowledge that we've all gained together, we can help the next community more effectively. And if it does come back here, if Mother Nature decides she wants to revisit us, I hope we'll all be better prepared. In that vein, I want to tell you this was my old sort of catastrophe preparation kit. Mostly for my office. It had lots of documents in it, discs, it's had just all kind of stuff. If you can imagine, after a hurricane, there's two guys you want to talk to really, really fast. One of them is your insurance guy, and the other one is a roofer. Those are the first two people you probably want to talk to after you find that your family is safe. So we have to be ready, and this was how I was ready before. And as ready as I thought I wasn't ready enough. So to tell you how I've taken my education, this is my new version of how I'm going to be ready. It's a pretty substantial case. I used to use stuff like this for diving, for some of my camera equipment. You can't beat this thing with a shotgun, and it's going to contain a lot more information when the next storm hits than my little notebook here did. So I will be armed better, but I will also be armed with a more knowledgeable customer base and community, and I'll be smarter than I was going into this storm. One of the things that I faced was I just didn't believe to some degree that some of what did happen could happen. The scale of this storm, I got to tell you, took me by surprise just like it did everybody else, and it won't do that again. Mother Nature may come back. We may have another Michael someday, but I will tell you, I'll be more ready for it this time, and I hope you will be as well. I want to talk about the pivot of what we're going to do. This will be the last official episode of Eating the Elephant, the 65th bite, as we're talking about. However, the elephant will still be in the room, to quote Pat Savaston, because there will still be the occasional issues that pop up. I think particularly as we get toward October and we get toward the anniversary of the storm, we will have some things come back up. And I can't address them all on the onesies, twosies on Facebook. Sometimes we may have to talk about these things, and I'll bring those issues to light. But what we are going to pivot toward is looking more forward. What I want to talk about is insurance issues in general to help you be better prepared, to have maybe a more economical experience. And I'm not going to tell you that I want something cheesy like a lizard and cut your rates by 15%, something silly like that. What I want to do is to help you be a better insurance consumer and take the dollars that you're spending on your insurance and use them more wisely, perhaps. I think we can all do better. I'm included. I'm somebody that does this every day, but I'm sure if I sat down a little more often with my insurance, I can probably be a little more effective, and I can probably distribute my premium dollars a little differently. We all know that insurance in Florida is extremely expensive, especially for homes, so you can spend yourself poor very quickly. And I know that there's going to be a tendency for some of you to want to throw money at the problem. Once you get your house back in order and you want to be ready for the next hurricane, you want to buy all the insurance you can buy. That's not necessarily the best way to go. I would never tell you probably not to buy something, but there are certainly things that would be more economical and a wiser use of your premium dollar, and you can waste a lot of money very, very quickly. By the same token, there's some very, very easy ways to save some money, and we're going to talk a lot about those in the coming weeks. We're going to go to once a week. We're going to go to just Sundays. Next Sunday, we're going to talk about the most important things in your homeowner's policy. You may think you know what they are, especially after you've been through this with your insurance company, and after you've maybe, hopefully, gotten most of the way back toward getting your house in order. But we're going to talk about some things that are very key and some things that you might not have snuck up on you, but it may be because of luck as opposed to anything else. So we're going to talk about the most important parts of your home insurance policy next week, and I'm going to try to keep those episodes to about 10 minutes apiece, and we're going to talk about one topic at a time. Again, the elephant will still be in the room, and if we do need to talk about anything hurricane recovery related, we'll do it. And I do encourage you, please reach out, or please have your friends, family, acquaintances, coworkers reach out to me. Again, no obligation. I'm never going to ask anybody for a dime. I just want to have some people, number one, get some help, and number two, to help them understand that they're just not alone in the process. That that a lot of people feel the way they might. You might be a little bit overdone, a little overtaxed, frustrated, and ready to give up. But the one thing that I hope that we've all gotten from this series, and the one thing I want to leave us with, my parting words, I think, are don't give up. Simply do not give up. If you are having trouble, if you are stuck, do not give up. You need to keep one foot in front of the other, and where you need to, get some help. If you need to talk to me, if you need to talk to somebody at the Department of Financial Services, even if you have to go to an attorney, don't simply give up. Do not let the bad guys win. So we're going to leave it there this week. Again, I really do thank you for those of you that have watched or that have provided input and questions for this series, and I look forward to talking to you next Sunday when we open the insurance pilot.